Yeah. So this is a M-shaped, or sort of an M-shaped wave. The first peak is from atrial contraction because there is no valve, right? So when the atria contracts, some pressure is pushed upward. The second is from ventricular contraction because as the ventricle contracts, it pushes up against the atrium, but it's a lower peak. So it's that. So just be aware of that M-shaped wave. Those cardiologists with 30 years of experience can actually gather information from the shape of the wave. Most of us, if we can see the pulsation, we're happy. I'm happy. Now, the head of this bed is probably at about 20 to 25 degrees at the moment. And if I identify the angle of Lewis, there are 2 or maybe even 3 centimeters that pulsation below the angle of Lewis, which suggests that his central venous pressure is 5 minus, let's say 3, about 2, which is really normal. Although 5 is normal, even up to 8 can be okay. All right? So, in this case, he does not have elevated jugular venous pressure. Now, suppose when we were up here, we saw the pulsation there. Angle of Lewis is here. We'd measure back, and in this case, we'd be adding 2 or 3 centimeters to that 5. But suppose when he was at this angle, we saw it all the way up here. Again, we'd find the angle of Lewis. Might help to have a ruler here. Okay, so it's the vertical distance from the angle of Lewis. And in this case, that is a bunch of centimeters. That's probably 8 centimeters. So 8 plus 5 would be 13, and that would be elevated jugular venous pressure. I will tell you that sometimes you'll have people sitting all the way up, and you can see it just under their chin. So it may even be higher than that. So does everybody get that concept and how we're measuring vertically from the angle of Lewis? So what I'm going to ask you to do today, and in fact, I think I'm going to have you guys split up into pairs, find somebody who's not your usual partner, and rotate. There are 4 rooms with exam tables out there, and I think there are 3, maybe 4 exam tables in here. That's 8 exam tables. So find an exam table with the back that goes up. In the rooms there are gooseneck lamps. In here you'll have to probably rely on oblique lighting with an otoscope. And I'll kind of come around, and I'm going to start with Nick and pick a partner.
Anybody?
Todd.
Okay, Todd, because I figured Todd will be easy. And I'm going to show Nick how to do this on Todd. And in the meantime, I want you guys trying to find that pulsation on each other. And you can grab a couple of these if you want and work on figuring out, estimating the number. Okay, first Malin.
Will there be any difference between males and females in this?
There shouldn't. The only thing is that bigger people with more fat in that fossa might be a little harder to see. Sarah?
So it's always the height plus 5?
It's always the height plus 5 because we are assuming that as Nick, here, I'm going to sit up. I'm going to put this,
really matter.
that the angle doesn't matter. That
Okay.
when he's sitting, the angle of Lewis is 5 centimeters above his right atrium. When he's halfway, his angle of Lewis is about 5 centimeters above his right atrium. When he's all the way, his angle of Lewis is about 5 centimeters above his right atrium. Just sort of geometrically there, it doesn't matter the position he's in.
So the adjustment of the angle is just to find it.
The adjustment of the angle of the table is just to find it, and usually you want to start at, say, 30 degrees, about a third of the way up. All right? So, light, you're better off with low light and a side light, although you can try different ways. So find yourself a partner, find yourself an adjustable table. There'll be a couple pairs that will need to move or, play a little bit of musical tables so that everybody gets an adjustable table.